guys, okay. Happy Friday. Oh, there we go. Now, I happen to particularly love Fridays. Not because of the weekend, because I don't really like weekends. Get my knives out. But, there we go. Because I was actually born on a Friday. I think it's pretty cool. And I actually, got married on a Friday. So I always hoped some of my kids would be born on Fridays. No luck there. No one was born on a Friday except for me, so I get to keep that to myself, I guess. So anyhow, while I'm talking to you guys, I'm also cooking dinner because I've got to get it on super quick. So yes, I'm doing this not as early as I planned, but earlier than the past few nights. So we're actually in my kitchen and I'm cooking dinner and got my knife. It's gonna be great. I'm actually making tonight. It is going to, I don't know what it's actually called. We just always called it sausage and bow ties. And I don't even know, I got the recipe, like someone wrote the recipe down on, a piece of paper. I have since lost the recipe. And it's been a long time since I even actually had the recipe. So basically I kind of have to play Iron Chef with it when I make it now. It's a pretty simple dish. Really basically it's just like bow tie pasta, bell peppers, like Italian sausage, some basil, some onions, really simple stuff. But it is sentimental because this was actually the first meal that I ever cooked for my now husband. The first meal he ever made for me was chicken Alfredo. First meal I ever made for him was this sausage and bow ties stuff, whatever you want to call it. So it's super easy. It's pretty nice. It's one of those meals when I make it, I'm like, why don't I make that more? It really wasn't that bad. But I always kind of hype cooking up where I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna take forever. So, but it's really not that bad. And the reason I'm doing that and going on and on and on about it is because like 17 years ago right now, I was not hanging out in my kitchen, I was actually hanging out in a wedding dress getting married. So yeah, 17 years ago, right now, we decided to say to hell with it and say our I do's. And I think it's funny, I think out of all the people who got married around the same time we did, I think we're the only ones still married, which kudos to people who can like see when it's not working and get out of it. I know that life is not perfect and does not always work out the way you plan, and I know that you don't divorce the person that you married. But I definitely think, I don't want to say people are too quick to jump the gun and get a divorce now. I think people aren't careful enough. It's not that they're too quick to divorce, it's that they're too quick to like marry. It's people really rush into it and then you realize you didn't actually, know the person, or maybe you didn't believe them when they showed you exactly who they were. And it really, and people do, like I say, people will kind of be great until you, and this is why I say, you never divorce the person you marry. You think they're great until you get married, and then suddenly issues pop up that you never saw before you got married. You still had your love goggles on or whatever. I really, and I actually, at first I didn't, when we talked about marriage, I was like, I really can't ever see myself getting married just because I don't I don't see why people can't just be committed and be together and not have, you know, like a piece of paper. And that's also where I think a lot of people are now, because they've kind of seen, you know, a lot of kids, well, and I say kids, a lot of adults now, when they were kids, they grew up with, you know, watching their parents go through bad marriages and things like that, to where they never want to get married. They don't want to have, like, that's just, it's not a, they don't fear, like, necessarily being committed to a person, but, because marriage does change things. Even if you've been together, that's the thing is, I'll sit there and talk to people who've been with someone for like a decade, and then they decide to get married, and they're like, holy crap, it really did change things. It does. Which is funny. That's something I definitely didn't expect, and especially it was rough for us, because we were, you know, like, I had just turned 21 right before we got married. So to be that young was really, and there was a lot of other stuff going on, so it was super intense. Would I tell my kids they can't get married when they're 21? Well, they're legal adults, so I really can't stop them. But I would hope, and you know what me and my husband had initially planned, you know, we were going to go to college and do like study abroad, and we were going to backpack through Europe, and we were going to do all kinds of stuff. And I hope that my kids would, you know, that would be what they would, you know, they would have the opportunities and make time and plan for going out and having fun. Because not that we don't have, but we had a child so quickly after we got married that we really never had time, you know, we never had a honeymoon. And then we've actually never even had a vacation. So, you know, it's one of those, I would want my kids to do enough kind of fun stuff that you can't do with kids, you know. Nice. It's a good onion. I would hope that they would do enough, you know, fun stuff and travels and things like that before kids, so that if they really don't get the opportunity to do that for a while, they don't really, you know, no harm, no foul. Because I definitely, you know, we had a lot of plans, and then just for so many reasons, things just changed so much that we weren't able to test the onion again. It's really yummy. We weren't able to do any of that stuff, and then we kept making people. And I remember, who was I pregnant with? I was pregnant with my third kid, and super hormonal. Like, my oldest kid was like, we have to adopt this teenager that needs a home. And my second kid was like starting to have some real behavioral problems that we later found out were autism. So I was like super hormonal, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna take them to Disney. And then I started looking at prices and had like a hormonal pregnant meltdown over trying to take my kids to Disney, because I realized at that point in time that I couldn't. And then I started freaking out because I was like, oh my God, I can't take 2 kids to Disney. I'm sure not going to be able to, like, it snowballed. And if you've ever been pregnant, you know how that goes. It's just one little thing leads into, like, you know, a 2-hour crying fit. So, how it goes. But, you know, it's, because I definitely want to take them, you know, if we do go somewhere, I want to take them somewhere where they'll have a good time. Going somewhere without them isn't really an option. We don't have like a nanny or a babysitter or anything at this point. Not that I wouldn't love a nanny. I'm all about that. I would love even a part-time nanny. Like, I used to judge the shit. I'm not gonna lie. I used to judge the shit out of moms that had nannies and stuff like that. And now, with 4 kids, and you look at the cost of childcare, like through a daycare or anything like that, and the fact that, like, you know, I've got kids that I homeschool that like need to be dropped off for various activities and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, I totally want a nanny. Like, I really want a nanny. Super bad. So I would love if I could work that out. But, so, and if we could get something like that, I mean, I would probably still take the kids with me. But then we would have someone to watch them so we could like go out to dinner or something. That would be great. Because gosh, I don't even think we've been out. Like, I see everyone worry about date nights and I'm like, dude, y'all were worried about date nights and you got like divorced. Like, I haven't been on a date with my husband since like my second kid was like 2 or something. Like, have date night at your house. Marriage is just funny. Like, it's funny what people worry about focusing on, and I think they just focus on stuff that really at the end of the day doesn't even really like matter. In my opinion. So that is what it is. Each to their own, I suppose, but I hate, it almost gets frustrating to see advice from people that their marriage ends up not even working out, right? So it's like, what are you gonna do though? All these people who think they know, and I'm like, you don't really know, you know, everyone's relationship is kind of for them to figure out. So, but yeah, so it is like 17 years though. That it feels like no time and all the time. Like it's so, and we've actually, so since we've been together 20 years, and we got together when I was 17, so we've been together over half of my life. And that's crazy to think that. Wow. So, okay, happy Friday, happy new moon, happy anniversary to my husband. It's a lot of happy. But that's gonna be it for now. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night.